There are two things hanging on the wall of the main salon in my boat, Stormy Weather. My father's medals from Second World War, from right to left, Battle of Stalingrad, bravery, liberation of Warsaw, and then liberation of Berlin. Something like that. I'm not looking at them now. And next to it is my painting, a copy of Renaissance painter Filippo Lippi, Madonna and a Child. Those two things actually represent something very important and tell a very important story. The struggles, the battles, the perseverance. My father was thrown in a battle of Stalingrad at the age of 17 and went all the way to Berlin during the Second World War. I worked on that painting for over a year and had this project that I was working on to do copy from every major movement in art, in the art history. And I started with Renaissance, technically the most difficult. It's kind of weird that I noticed the way progression, the way techniques of art progressed from the most complicated to basically spitting on a wall and calling it art. In science, it's just the opposite. It was from the basic, inventing the wheel, and then so goddamn complicated that my technical mind today doesn't even have a clue how, for example, computer chip works. As simple as that. But back to the story of my father and then mine. Even though the stories were very different, there are certain similarities there. My father fought a war to survive, to save his life, maybe life of others, by destroying others' lives, lives of an enemy. I did almost the opposite. I fought a battle to preserve beauty in a world that doesn't care for it much. Working on that painting, I set up an easel right in the museum, right in front of the original painting. I copied it almost stroke by stroke, and by copying it, I sort of had a conversation with Filippo Lippi because I saw the choices he made in the painting. Some parts of the painting I almost felt he was in a good mood. Other parts I kind of felt the artist was not in such a good mood. or he was struggling with something. Every morning I walked into this gallery of the Metropolitan Museum where the painting was hanging, smoking a little pot before I got there in Central Park, actually with the guard that worked in that gallery. Also kind of like Pod, was a young guy. One day he even suggested to me as we're smoking pot in Central Park, he said, "You realize that I can disconnect the alarm system from this painting, and your copy looks damn close. And it would probably be 10, 20 years before they realize that it's not the original painting when they take it for cleaning." I told him, "I'm an artist, not a thief." And didn't go for that idea. I have actually a film script to that nature. But every morning I would come into that gallery, I would feel like I'm in 15th century Florence. I would like time travel. But back to our struggles, my father's medals and my painting hanging side by side brings a certain, I would imagine, meaningful memories. You know how sometimes we do search for meaning because this life sometimes is so absurd and meaningless, and our everyday chores just don't make any sense. Why are we doing it? To pay our bills? We don't think so. I think there's gotta be more to life than just going through the same thing day in and day out. This is why I'm kind of an adventurer by nature. I need to do something exciting, somewhat dangerous. I do sailing, that's dangerous. Ride a motorcycle, just fractured my ankle bone. So those two things hanging side by side, the Father, the Son, some kind of a struggle similarity.